Today on Talk About Games, we're talking about We Happy Few, which was a game that I watched trailers of and I was really excited about. It has a really interesting premise.
I saw the trailers too, and I also thought it was a pretty interesting premise. Yeah.
In this game, basically it looks like you're in Britain after there was some kind of apocalypse where things were destroyed, and you have groups of people living destitute in destroyed houses, and you have some of them that are the downers, who are the second class of society, who are hated by the other group of people who are living in a fantasy world, and that fantasy world is driven by their addiction to a drug called joy. They've built a society around the fact that everyone who is on joy is ignoring the problems of this post-apocalyptic world, and they're happy, and everyone who is not on joy is an aberration and is against all of that, and they're gonna beat them to death.
To me, it almost seemed like they're on joy because this is an apocalyptic world, and this is sort of how they're getting through it, by taking this joy drug.
From that premise, you think there'd be a great game. What the gameplay is like is you're in a first-person exploration-like world where you're dealing with some resource mechanics. It's basically a sad version of The Sims, where you have to sleep, you have to drink, you have to eat, you have to collect all these things for survival.
I've heard, a lot of people compare the game to BioShock. It's kind of like if you compared BioShock with Clockwork Orange or something.
Yeah.
I played the game for a little while. I didn't really enjoy it because of several issues with the gameplay. While I thought the concept was sort of interesting, you're walking around this environment and you want to do something in the game. You want to get an item or whatnot, but you have to constantly be eating, or you have to constantly be resting, and you try to do one task and then it's like, oh, I've got to stop to eat something, and then there's this inventory system which is kind of a mess, and they have all these different items just like thrown into this inventory, and you gotta, things are very hard to select. So much of the game, you just kind of want to progress, where you gotta keep taking breaks, and that's not very fun to just keep, let me sit down for a while, let me eat for a while. It's just kind of a drag.
So, I was really critical of it, because, this game is obviously hugely ambitious, from the storyline to these mechanics, the food, drink, sleep mechanics. There's even ways that, like, if you eat bad food, you can get poisoned, and then you need the poison drug. So we've got all these items, and there's crafting and all this stuff. But then, on top of all the crafting and all the items and all these things you're doing, you're also playing this, like, stealth, survival, objective-based game. And it's like, okay, when I was in quirky, fun, Victorian world, or quirky, fun, patriotic world in the BioShock games, I had guns.
Yeah.
I had magic, with the plasmoids.
This you're going around like a little stick or something.
This you might have a stick.
Yeah, I had a stick.
You might not even have a stick, right? You're going around. You can't kill all these enemies. The goal is not to kill them.
Yeah, one thing I didn't like, you go up to an enemy and, you can punch him in the face, or I was hitting him with a stick, and they start to come after you in groups. Then you have to run away. You get in two hits, and then you just gotta start running. But then there's also like a lung meter, and if you run for a little bit, or if you throw a couple punches, well, now the guy's tired, so now you gotta take a break.
The game quickly establishes that you're not Rambo. You're not gonna kill these people. You gotta, be stealthy. So if you take the joy pills, they won't attack you, but you can't do other things. There's so much going on, and I think the best way to explain it is it's very muddled.
I want to talk about one of the things,
right,
my least favorite thing about this game, and that was time. The game progresses day by day. Now, if you're playing a lot of games do that now. If you play like Grand Theft Auto, it goes day to night, but it might take, I don't know how long, like in Grand Theft Auto, it might take like an hour or something to go from like day to nighttime, where in this game, it's literally like a minute or something, and it's your day one, day two, they go by very quickly. So your character, you're walking from down the street, and that's all it takes. You walk down the street and a day has passed, and all you did was go down the street. That doesn't even make any sense. If all you did was go down the street, go in a building, walk out, and now it's day 2, well, now your guy is hungry and he's tired because a day has gone by. They needed to make it like 25, 30, 40 minutes for a day to go by, not like a minute. It's insane.
And I want to list all the things. So this game has a crafting system, a very rudimentary combat system, a food and drink system. It has the quirky storyline, the whether or not you're on the joy pills system. It has missions. It has a safe house that you can go to, books you can read, something with batteries and electricity, and it has lock picking. It has all this crap. And when you're playing the game, there's 4 buildings that you could scrounge stuff to, and you better damn well be going to the next objective and scrounging more stuff. Because you need to craft more, you need to eat more, you need to drink more, you need more happy pills, and you need to get to all the objectives. Several times I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't have any more crap, right? I can't heal, I can't eat, I can't drink, I can't pick the lock, I can't pry the bar, I can't do any of this stuff.
You can't do anything.
And I'm being chased by crazy people on drugs.
And they hit you a couple times, then you're dead.
And you're
and
dead.
It's like,
and then it's like, oh, I gotta reload. I gotta do this. And I'm like, look, I want to experience the world of this game. I want to see what's going on with the story. You know, I want to do these things. But I'm spending my time doing all these like weird maintenance tasks. I'm spending my time scrounging for crap and getting yelled at by crazy British people.
Yeah.
And I just want to get to the next thing, and it's just, I can't.
And speaking of the British people that he just mentioned, you know, it's one thing, you know, I love like Alice in Wonderland, and, you know, the idea of sort of having this sort of like trippy game, it was kind of cool to me, but the voice acting and the dialogue that they give is so generic. They're saying things like London Bridge is falling down. English people don't talk like that.
I mean, the developers of this game, I don't know where they're from. They could be from Britain, but there's like so many like cliches.
It seemed very cliched and stereotypical.
Where do they back off, you bugger off?
I should be learning about what was this apocalypse that happened? Who are these people? I don't even see how my character can become a hero or a villain or have some arc. It's like, usually in games like this, like in Portal. In Portal, you start, you're getting through the puzzles are fun, and the story is revealed to you. Why Gladys is an awful AI. Revealed to you. Who you are, kind of, sort of, revealed to you. You know, how Black Mesa is involved and it's part of Half-Life. It's all in there. This game, it's like, I'm gonna die 50 times of starvation, or being beaten with clubs, or getting locked in a room I can't get out of before I even learn the littlest bit.
Yeah.
And the game, honestly, didn't give me enough, or maybe it gave me too much, that I don't want to make that investment.
Exactly. And there's so much in this game, you know, that you just mentioned, but it's when I was playing the game, honestly, I was bored to tears by it. I'm walking around. There's a lot of things that can be done, but I just found it to be incredibly dull and terrible gameplay.
So if you sit down and you're playing this game and it seems like something you're into, keep in mind this is not a game for the casual fan. You really need to be willing to invest yourself in learning the level layouts, learning where all the items are, being able to accomplish the missions quickly. Because if you dawdle, if you hesitate, if you don't use your resources wisely, you're going to end up with no resources, getting beaten in the head by happy people with clubs. Period. That's how you will end. Or you're going to get electrocuted, or you're going to get eaten, or something's going to go wrong. You know, I played for a couple hours and I feel like that's the game for me. I'm probably not going to keep going.
It's kind of like with most games. If you're playing it for the first half hour, however long, and you're not enjoying it, well, you're not gonna put in the however 40, 50 hours to play through the whole game, and I wasn't enjoying it from the get-go. I played it for about an hour myself, and I watched him play it for a while, and I am not going to continue the game because I didn't enjoy what I saw in the first section of it. So perhaps, and I feel like what people might say is, well, later in the game, this happens or that happens. Maybe it does, but I didn't enjoy the game in the beginning to even want to make it to whatever cool stuff that there could possibly be later.
I want to mention something. The build of this game we're playing is pre-alpha.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, I have some big suggestions, and I'm sure you might have some too. This game has an opportunity to change, and here's the things that need to happen. The mission system going from place to place needs to become more clear and lead people on the path. The crafting system and the item system, either items need to be more plentiful or it needs to be simplified somewhat. I'm not playing this on ultra hard mode. I'm playing this on let's find out what the fuck is going on mode, and I can't find out what the fuck is going on when I'm a starving, thirsty pincushion or target to get hit back.
I think that they need to fix the time. I think that it shouldn't be so quick to go from day 1, day 2, day 3. Slow it down some, let us search around for a bit, and do a couple things before it turns to day 2. That's crazy to me.
Here's something else, too. I don't like when games have hard time limits, because if you're putting me in a world, I want to explore it, it shouldn't say day 1, day 2. It should just be morning, night.
Yeah, just have the sun go up and down. Why do we need to be... I just don't like the whole thing of, day 2 comes, and then now my guy's hungry and he has to go to sleep. It's really... And I know that's probably one of the core things about the game, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, you have enough to worry about. You have enough
There's so much going on. Yeah, you don't need that. That's just in the way.
Absolutely. So... I believe, at least from the promotional material, that this game is trying to be a roguelike. It's trying to combine story-driven gameplay with the idea of a roguelike or a survival game. I feel like those two genres should probably be mutually exclusive. Because these survival games and these games like Nuclear Throne and Risk of Rain and stuff, they're like Twitch shooters that require you to do this. So we're going from like this like Twitch shooter survival to games like DayZ or whatever to games like this that it's like, oh, we're gonna create this beautiful world and we're gonna have crazy trippy people on drugs and stuff. It's like two different types of games. Maybe they don't fit together, maybe they do. But this pre-alpha was very unfulfilling.